Hey, welcome into Monday morning, everybody. Your DFS Minute brought to you by DFSArmy.com. One-stop shopping, all things daily fantasy sports, all tools, all coaching, one roof, one price. Really, really simple. Head down to the comment section, use the coupon code CHOP, C-H-O-P, trigger the 20% off discount that's making people famous each and every day. I'm going to run through NBA process setup stuff today, but what I want to explain to you first is you don't need to know a lot about the games anymore. I mean, it does help to watch the games. It does help to dig really, really deep into research and stuff. But you're uncovering smaller edges for the amount of work you're putting into it. I would rather go someplace that provides all of that information to me with some reliability, with a track record, maybe with people to answer my questions as I'm learning a new sport when the questions come up, because they will. And just kind of crank along at a decent pace and learn a whole bunch of different sports, kind of diversify my portfolio, if you will, not put all my eggs in the basketball basket or the hockey basket, but play both, play some NASCAR, play some PGA. The results will come if you learn a little bit about the fundamentals of the game and what you're doing. I'll show you screenshots another time. Don't have time for it today, but I've got them saved. Just this year alone, we're not 2 months into the year. I have placed fourth and ninth in a 1,200 person NASCAR event, placed second out of 28,000 people in an NHL event, and placed fourth, which shocked me, fourth out of 217,000 people in a NBA event. I'm not an NBA guy. I'm not a NASCAR guy. I would play NHL, MLB, and probably PGA would be my favorites to play. NFL, of course. But that stuff aside, I'm sending some runners deep into some of these tournaments because of little bitty tweaks that I'm making. And what I'm going to show you is how to do that. So grab a pen, grab some paper. Let's kind of dive in. I want to show you the NBA research station for today and show you how I'm going to translate that into the domination station. To make things a little bit faster, I'm going to pause the video right now. I'm going to dive into the domination station, and I'm going to show you with the smiley faces in a little bit, kind of who I liked and why, and then we'll walk through it a little bit slower when I come back. So I'm going to pause the video, stay tight for about 2 seconds. I'll be right back. All right, let's jump in and figure out what it is that we did to set this thing up, because I use a couple of different things. I'm not big on diving super deep into numbers and sports that I don't know, and even sports I don't like that much, because it takes up time from the sports that I do like. I do know that the and one rating is an overall matchup rating metric that does a very, very good job at identifying who should see positive boosts today. And I know that ADVP shows defense versus the position. It's a little bit messed up right now with some of these numbers, but it'll correct itself through the day. I know that the ceiling number is a projection is a number that these players get over about 20 to 25% of the time. And I know that floor is a number that they get over about 75% of the time. Sort of carves out that median range between floor and ceiling that we talk about so much. And then the projection is going to fall somewhere in the middle there. I know that the value number is the point projection divided by the salary. And we look for about 5 to 6x in NBA. These days, I would tell you look more for 6x when you can find it, because 350 points on FanDuel ain't cashing no more. When I look over at the ceiling number, I look at a ceiling value. That tells me if he hits the ceiling, it's going to be 8.2x. If he hits his floor, it's going to be 3.9x. 3.9x as a floor game isn't great, but it sure as hell beats a 2.2 or a 1.6. What it shows you is these guys are a little bit volatile when they have low floors and decent ceilings. It shows you guys are potentially overpriced when they have solid floors and low ceilings, because their ceiling isn't going to give you that giant multiplier. Now, you're not going to get 10x very often out of Giannis, right? But I would like more than 6x if I can get it. So the point is, I don't need to know a lot anymore. I can know a little bit about a lot of different things, and I can learn this in NASCAR and PGA and baseball and football and whatever that I want to learn. And I can ask coaches follow-up questions to help start directing me towards putting me on the place. But right now in NBA, this works really, really well. I'm using a combination of floor value and ceiling value to kind of indicate who I might want to boost the projections of in our optimizer, right? I'm going to use the baseline projections, and I'm going to tweak a few. So I'm going to look at somebody like Luka here who has a ceiling of 8.2x and a floor of 3.9x and say that's just flipping ridiculous, right? That's almost a can't miss. He should hit at least 4x tonight. He might hit 8x tonight, and at 9,800 bucks, that's huge. So Luka is going to probably be a popular player, but I'm probably going to have a large portion of him myself in my own lineups. I look down a little bit more, 3.4 and a 6.1 out of Giannis. I should do point guard only. You should go position by position because it's going to show you a little bit of positional scarcity. When you see a giant and one rating and a big drop off, there's generally a break in the tier there. Sometimes it can be important. Luka and Trae Young are at the top. I'm probably going to like them regardless. Even Trae Young's 2.2 and 7.0. It tells me he's probably got a tougher matchup tonight. But I see that I'll take him anyway because he's still a stud. Russell's a little bit squashed on his ceiling, especially with Harden in the line. I know these, but he's got a high floor. Probably have some of him. I'll probably be underweight the field in some of these because I don't see them being the types of ceilings that are really going to blow up the night and make them must-haves, whereas Luka might be. I come down a little bit more to a 3.0 and a 9.3 in Kendrick Nunn, and I'm going to love Kendrick Nunn. If he hits that ceiling number, you're going to want a lot of him in your lineups. If you're playing cash games, you might focus more on the floor, but if you're playing tournaments, you need the ceilings and you need to hit every guy that is close to hitting his ceiling that night to win the tournament. So I'm really, really focused on these numbers here when I do a little bit of MME type stuff. 3.0, 7.8, not so much. 3.6, 8.2, I'd be interested in Dinwiddie, right? I mean, do you see where I'm going with this? Does this make sense? Let's move to shooting guards. And I'll walk you through a couple positions, and then I'll go show you the domination station. 2.4 and 8.2 out of Lou Williams. That's okay. It's a little bit low floor, but in a tournament, I don't care as much about the floor. I do like the ceiling and the fact that he's rated highly in the and ones. But notice the drop off isn't as sharp here. So we can gamble with some of these guys a good bit and look a little bit more maybe for price or whatever else. 3.3 and 6.9, probably not that, but interested. If he ends up in my lineups, great. If not, I won't miss it. I won't cry about it. 3.6 floor, 7.5 ceiling is okay out of Middleton. Might have some of him. Won't really juice his projections much like I would a Josh Richardson at 8.9 ceiling or Alec Burks at a 10.4. I'm going to have to listen for news on Alec Burks because his minute projection is pretty low at 23. That's another thing that I look at. I like him in the 30s. I look for a 23 and I go, man, he needs a boost in minutes. If he gets a boost in minutes, he's more likely to hit that ceiling. He might even surpass it. And he'll probably be sitting at a little bit lower ownership as a result because his floor is really, really low. That's okay with me in tournaments if I get that kind of news later today. Scroll down a little bit, 3.0, 8.6, Duncan Robinson. That looks pretty good to me. 2.7, 9.9. Who is that? Is that Delon Wright or Dylan Brooks? It's Dylan Brooks. So these are guys that I would probably boost in my projections some. We'll do small forward, and I'll show you something in power forward real quick. Oh, poop on you. All right, small forward. Again, we've got a decent drop off here between, the top and the rest. So that would make Giannis probably really important tonight. 6.1 ceiling is low because he's priced so high, but a 3.4 floor is nice. 3.1, 7.8, 1.6, 9.1. I don't like a lot of my former KU guys. They're erratic. They're kind of weird. 1.6 floor is scary, but the 9.1 ceiling is probably a little too high to refuse in this matchup tonight. Probably will have to have some Marcus Morris. 3.1, 7.9, 2.9, 8.8. These guys are all right. Dorian Finney-Smith, Glenn Robinson. Glenn Robinson probably will have some shares in my lineups tonight. 8.7, Josh Jackson. 9.2, Derek Jones. Again, lower minutes. A lot of these minutes are getting erratic. So this is going to be where the gamble is going to come from me. But if you look at power forward, I will explain something about positional scarcity because when you see Kawhi Leonard and Porzingis here at 22s and it drops to 15, if you heard what I said earlier, you'd hear, oh my God, these guys are really, really important because the drop-off's really, really sharp. And that's true most of the time, but it's not true all of the time. And in a case like tonight, you look at the 3.7 and 3.0 and the 6.6 and 7.4 floor and ceiling value numbers respectively, and you would think it's okay, and it is. It's okay. But when I look at the price, and I know that Giannis is probably important, Luka is probably important, and I can't afford all of these guys, I'm going to have to make some sacrifices somewhere. And when these guys' ceiling numbers are not as high as those other two, I probably would value the other two more. And then when I come down here and I see that for cheaper, I see, a 4.0 and a 7.6 out of Julius Randle. Maybe that gets you excited. It doesn't get me as excited as a 4.5 and a 10.1 out of Al Horford for 4,900. It's half price Kawhi, and it's got a higher value ceiling and a higher value floor because it's so underpriced, and a 7.3 median projection coming right out of the gate with 33 minutes already projected for the guy. That's a pricing mismatch that we probably need to exploit. I'm going to look down here a little bit more, 3.7 and 8.7. Who's that? Brandon Clark? Probably will have some Brandon Clark, 3.6 and 10.2 out of Naz Reid. See, I've got three options that are significantly cheaper than those top guys. And yes, the and one matchup tells me those top guys are better, but their floor and ceiling combination tells me I should probably be taking the discount and spend up for Luka, spend up for Giannis. So tonight, as of right now, is sort of building itself for me. I'm still going to mix and match. I don't like building one lineup anymore because it forces me to make wrong decisions. I can build a larger portfolio of 20, 30, 40 players, play MME, and then I'm going to have something that probably turns out okay. How good? I don't know. But something always works. It gives me more confidence in myself as a player. It gives me more confidence in my research. It takes the pressure off of having to be absolutely perfect. So I like that. But these concepts still apply. Positional scarcity, where you should spend your money, where you shouldn't. And you use that in the domination station when you fly over here. And I just set up one initial run at 25 lineups, 2 unique players. People say, how many should I use? 2 or 3 or 4? I don't care. Use whatever. In basketball, being a projection-oriented sport, I run tighter unique players. In a volatile sport like hockey, golf, I run more unique players. In baseball, I'll run more unique players because not only do I want my stacks and correlations to mix and match, I also want to be taking on different teams because different teams, the chalk busts in those sports a lot. The chalk doesn't bust as often in NBA. So I run tighter cores, tighter uniques, less players, etc. So I just set up a little bit of smidge of randomization. I click go with 75% maximum exposure, and I'm running on this. What I'm trying to do is show you here now with the point guard, what would I do? Remember, I said I didn't like Russell that much. I did like Luka a lot. I liked Trae Young. I liked Dinwiddie. I liked Bledsoe. And then down here, I liked Kendrick Nunn. So I juiced all these guys' projections. I took them from the default projection of 27.5 in Nunn's case, jacked at 15% up to 31.6. It brought his fantasy points per dollar up to 6.73. Being one of the higher values at the point guard position, the optimizer is going to reach for him first. When I see a projected ownership later in the day, I can adjust and say, do I want to be up at the 75% mark myself, or do I want to be down underneath the field? If he's at, say, 30%, do I want to be at 10%, 15%, or do I want to be at 75%? I don't like going all in on any player most of the time. So I'm going to use this wide range. I should mostly have Bledsoe, Nunn, Dinwiddie, Doncic, whatever, Young in my lineups with a mix and match of some of these other guys here and there, just in case. But mostly it's going to be these guys because they are indicated to be testing their ceilings tonight. I will do this for each and every position. I go through shooting guard, and you can see I didn't take a lot of these guys up top here because they didn't have the floor ceiling combo. This Malik Beasley at 3.68, this projection's really, really low. If I wanted him to pull into my lineups, because he won't at this level, if I want him to pull into my lineups, I might have to adjust this manually to say 30. And that gets him up to 5.36, and he's going to start pulling in. Maybe I back him down a little bit to 28 and get him to 5.0x. That's fine. If I have him, what, at 17.9, or if I just turn him back into a pumpkin here, like I had him. I'm going to leave him alone for a while and let the numbers update through the day. But these would be guys that I'm interested in, and you see their values come up too. So I'm going to control their exposure. Do I want more or less of him by putting the clamps down on them, down to 60, 50, 40, 30%, or releasing the clamps, bringing them up on the next run. He goes down to 30%. And all of a sudden I look at it and go, man, I want more of him than that. And I'll let him up to 40%. Then I'll let him up to 50%. It's massaging this optimizer that's going to create the player pool that you want for yourself. And when you go through all of the positions and you like and adore and whatever these players and kind of play with some of their projections, you're going to eventually settle on something that you like. You're going to click optimize. You're going to run it. And you're going to come down here and see your overall projections. Your overall projections got a lot of Giannis tonight, which I'm okay with. But if his projection comes out at 50% tonight, then I might actually contemplate going underweight the field for the case of, for the sake of leverage. And just hope he has a bad night and everybody else's lineups tank. Because I get more leverage going underweight the field if he's massive chalk than by going overweight the field if he's up there at 50, 60%. Now, if he's chalky at 30, 35%, I can be double the field at 75%. I might do that instead. Luka, same diff. Lou Williams, same diff. Marcus Morris, I would obviously want to tamp that down, but I'm not comfortable with that much of him. I might drop him to 40 when projections come out, ownership projections come out, rerun it, and kick him out of a few of my lineups. And if he smashes tonight, well, that's on me. That's a mistake that I made. But if he doesn't smash tonight because he's erratic as hell, then I might be underweight the field on him. I'll have some in case he has a great night, but I won't have a ton because I don't trust the guy. Okay, Horford probably will juice him up towards the cap. Alec Burks, I'm looking for news on him. Eric Bledsoe, Dylan Brooks. Porzingis got higher than I thought he would get with Luka in there. That's fine. Whatever. However this stuff mixes and matches. And you can go through these lineups and you can do certain things. Like I could even take this and sort by total projected ownership later. And it would take the higher projection team overall ownership, and it would throw it to the top. Those would be my chalkier lineups. I could delete the top 10 of them if I wanted to and run with lower ownership tonight. There's so many things that I can do. There's so many different ways to tell you guys to play this game and to put the advantage in your court to where you can start going deeper into tournaments yourself, getting the majority of your lineups through the cash lines in these tournaments and becoming a better player. And we do all this by learning and staying ahead of the curve, building the tools all in one house under one roof to help you become a better player that not everybody in the world has access to. These are things to consider if this is the type of stuff that you like, the type of information you like. Of course, you like and subscribe to the video. But if you want more information, you want to learn the nuances of the sports and get even better at them, then you need to be a VIP because you need the coaching. You need the answers to your questions. Tools only is fine. It hangs you out to dry, though. You need answers to your questions. And with a discount code CHOP, CHOP, you also get a 20% discount that brings the VIP membership price down to just $5 a month more than the tools only. For $5 a month, why wouldn't you take the coaching? Hopefully I see you guys inside. Hopefully we're playing NBA today. Hopefully I see you guys sharing your winning lineups with us out there on Twitter like we share with you guys all the time because we're producing different winners every single day inside dfsarmy.com. Come on in and check us out. You can even do it for free if you go to the website and you go under the free offer tab. There's plenty of ways to qualify for free trial offers, 30 days, whatever. You guys might want to jump in on something like that, kick the tires before you actually drive us around. See how overwhelming it is inside and see why people, once they settle into a routine, are absolutely kicking butt and taking names. I'm Chopping On. I'll see y'all later. It's been the DFS Minute for today. Hopefully you guys have a great NBA slate, and we'll see you tomorrow or the next day.